worked for the American Seed Company, if you can believe that. Back in the day, they would send you this big box of seeds, and you'd go out and you'd sell these seeds, and then you would win these prizes. And we did that for years. And it was just like I was totally comfortable with doing it. And I just knew at a young age, I was setting up like, the gumball machine and the snack thing at the end of the driveway, for friends, or selling lemonade, whatever it was. Like I loved selling and connecting buyers and sellers. And so when I got through high school and was going to college, I knew right away, like, what's it called? Okay, marketing. I really didn't know what to expect, but, a lot, it was, consumer behavior, advertising, a little physical distribution. I mean, they touched all the different parts. The piece that was the most interesting to me, or even surprising that it was a discipline, was marketing strategy and case study specifically. So like my senior year, like my marketing case study class was one of my favorite classes ever. And just because they would give you like, here's this business, here's this narrative, here's their financials, here's the Excel spreadsheet. Now, what do you think? What should you do? Reading the financials, I've always felt like it's kind of like the doctor reading your chart, your vitals, your blood pressure, all your vitals. And then the narrative is talking to the business and the market and saying, what is this product? Where does it exist in the marketplace? Is it high price, low price, specialized, non-specialized? And then kind of combining those to be able to make business decisions, I thought was like a super appealing part of marketing, and really more of a overall business management or business solution. So I guess maybe it's problem solving. Maybe it's even some hidden control thing where I just want people to, see the world as I see it, or, consume the things that I consume. And also probably just a little competitive, just winning, just, learning from a sale, learning from a lost sale, and then say, what should I do differently, or learning from an accomplished sale, and then saying, what do I need to repeat, and then having success with that. Yeah, so our mission at Generations Digital is to make car dealers better, smarter consumers of digital marketing. We do that through education, we do that through consulting, and we do that through reporting. Really, everything that we provide for dealers, for the most part, begins and ends with our reporting, which we provide through Google's Looker Studio, or just called Looker. And that's the reporting engine. And then we feed into that Google Analytics 4, Google Business Profile. We dial into the back of dealers' third-party classifieds, so AutoTrader, Cars.com, Car Gurus. We extract all that data. Google Ads, we get all their paid search data. We bring that all into Looker, and it's not a lot of numbers and tables. It's all very visual and very colorful. I feel like if you can't look at a chart and quickly say, like, how are things, or is organic search doing better, or how are conversions? Like, I want to be able to see that visually right away, and without having to thumb through a bunch of numbers and comparisons. And so that's really what our reporting, I think, is the best in the business, and it gives dealers their own reporting that they can own. NADA says dealers spend $29,000 a month on digital marketing. We have dealers that spend more, less, but we should easily be able to save them 30 to 40% of that budget. And again, especially around their paid search and paid social campaigns, or finding opportunities for them to be able to make better investments and improve their return on investment. Curiosity, for sure. I mean, you have to. I think if you like working puzzles and you like solving problems, then getting into a dealership Google Analytics and helping them to answer questions about their traffic and the quality of that traffic is maybe for you. I mean, just in terms of just overall work ethic, or things that back when I was hiring, things you want to have. I mean, you want to have if you have good hardworking work ethic, if you have good basic intelligence, I think you want to find someone who's just a really curious, active learner. If you're going to be in digital marketing, you're going to need to read a lot, and you're going to need to watch a lot of videos and stay up on it. But if you really love what you're doing, it won't even feel like work. You'll just be so curious that you'll have different data points, or someone will say something that you've never heard before, you don't understand, and you make them define it. And you understand that. Now you're a little bit better. I would have studied accounting and finance way more. I remember like doing manual accounting in college, and again, this was in the 80s. It was all, not all pencil and paper, but they still taught you how to do T accounts and debits and credits. I remember manually creating this thing called an age trial balance, and I didn't even know what it was or why someone would ever need something like this. And I just mechanically put it together for the assignment, and then couple years out of college, you realize like that's a really important report that you should understand well, and just learning how to read financial statements and getting better on that. So anyone who's in business who sometimes ashamedly said, "Yeah, I was an accounting major," I'm always like, God, that prepares you. When I was back in the day when I hired a lot of people, I loved finance and accounting degrees. So product, price, place, and promotion. So the product you're selling, how differentiated it is, the price, high or low, place, distribution, door-to-door sales or Walmart, and then promotion, the degree to which you advertise either the same sort of small market or mass media, whatever that is. And for me, I think the key for people understanding marketing is not just understanding those 4 Ps, but understanding the way that they dynamically work with each other. And when you have a high priced product, you're going to have a higher specialized product. You'll have a smaller promotion. You'll have and you'll have a smaller distribution. And then as you have a low price, so Walmart, a good example, low price generic product available all over the country and advertises on TV. So very low cost per exposure, but mass marketing. And so always making sure that I think as a business rolls out or if a business intentionally decides to like go upscale or go downscale, that they understand that those other 3 Ps need to kind of function together, And so, the classic case study in the 80s was the Cadillac Cimarron, which was a rebadged Chevy Cavalier, which was kind of a junky car from Chevy in the 80s. And they took the Cadillac name and they tried to go upscale with the Cimarron, but the price was there. They were charging a lot. It was exclusive and through those same distribution channels, but the product really wasn't there, And so, making sure that those things are all lined up. In the same way, like Volkswagen tries to go upscale with the Touareg or whatever it is, I think you have to understand that your distribution, your specialization, of course, pricing is easy to move up and down. The product itself needs to live there, and understand that there's always when you lay those 4 Ps out and you look at up market, down market, you can discover opportunities. Certainly Chipotle did when they realized that no one was really in the $8 burrito. Lots of people fighting for the 99 cents and the $2 burrito with Taco Bell or whoever. Being able to see there's an opportunity, people want to spend at this mid-tier, better quality, a little higher price, less distribution, those sort of things. So long-winded answer, but for me, like that's the magic of marketing, is the way that those 4 Ps move around with each other, and sometimes how like a business strategy can sometimes be to take one. It was Elon Musk when he lowered the price of Tesla. That was a deliberate move to move out of his square to lower his price, where all his other 3 Ps were still kind of intact. And that made it really difficult to compete with him. So all the other companies had to immediately lower their price or face that degradation. So sometimes you can do that in a market share strategy. You can move one of those out, but if you're not careful, the other 3 Ps will move down with it, right? And so it puts downward price pressure on Tesla in other ways. Publishing a book is one of the few things today that requires a moderate amount of work, but has a huge reputation build with it. I mean, there is nothing more impactful than laying down a book or a collection of books in front of a dealer owner or a buyer of some sort. But to myself, I say it's not that hard. Like all you really need is 2 PDFs and you can have a book on Amazon. Self-publishing is so easy. And it really started because I had written a lot. I composed a lot of little single and 2-page PDFs on Google My Business. This was back right before pandemic. I had all these articles. It was the Christmas before pandemic, and a few dealers had said, "Hey, you've got all these articles on Google My Business, and it's can you kind of put them into a binder, kind of organize them for us so we can distribute them to our teams?" I said, "Sure thing." And so started working on it and laying it all out in Word. I'm like, I have enough content. This feels like a book, because I was kind of putting them in chapters. And then knew nothing about it, but got on Upwork and found like a couple really good editors that work with Amazon. And they're like, "Hey, just send us your sloppy Word doc and we'll paginate it and put it all out there." And then a cover, same thing on Upwork, found cover designers. And that's the more expensive. I mean, it's like $500 for a cover, but so worth it if you get a good one. And then you just work with your editor, and suddenly you've got this book and you publish it. And it's just, it just has a real big impact. And so I would encourage anybody, a recipe book or a family genealogy or some story you want to tell, just compose it in Word and you'll spend under $1,000 and you'll have a book. I think a lot of it is due to the power in the equation, in the buying equation, that shifted to consumers, in the late 90s, with the advent of the internet. And even before that, Edmunds was publishing invoice prices. I mean, there was a move toward transparency, which I think from a marketing perspective offers dealers an opportunity to kind of embrace that transparency and recognize and say, look, the consumer, we're going to recognize that a lot of the power in the equation has shifted to the consumer, and the consumer will come onto our lot knowing more about those make and models than probably our sales team, and they'll have done their research. But we want to satiate that. We want to provide really good information on our website, clear pricing, lots of photos and imagery, and also in terms of like our conversation. So instead of our chat tool simply pushing lead forms at consumers, let's get in a conversation with them and get their questions. Has the vehicle ever been smoked in? Does it have a third row? Or could you take another video of the inside? Yeah, we run out there and we satiate that. We give them that. And really, before the internet really blossomed completely, companies like AutoNation were creating these big superstores to try to create that better shopping experience. Come here, we've got 15 Camrys that you're looking for instead of one or two at this other smaller dealership. The internet changed all that and suddenly made everyone have a virtual lot. The third-party classifieds, Auto Trader, Cars.com, Car Gurus, they created efficiency in the marketplace because they more efficiently brought buyers and sellers together. They exposed the inventory more efficiently, to consumers, for dealers, and I would say they lowered the cost, the advertising cost overall. I don't know that I could really even say that. I mean, you'd have to look at it from a publishing or traditional marketing perspective and come down to like a cost per exposure or cost per shopper. That'd be an interesting exercise, but it does feel like things are more efficient and more in control of the dealership. The dealership can control their website, their message, their online storefront. Sit in sales calls with agents, because we're not an agency. We don't sell anything. We just provide reporting and consulting. But we'll sit through presentations and I can just hear the buzzwords just getting dropped, almost obnoxiously. And I'm like, this makes the dealer uncomfortable using all these buzzwords, because really what you're talking about is not that complex. So try to dumb it down, right? I won't necessarily interrupt them and try to get that done. But when I'm talking to agencies and they're asking for advice, I tell them, if you make your customers better consumers, smarter buyers of your product, they will drop you less. If you want to stay in your dealerships, teach them, demystify it. Don't, I think in some cases they hold back and they want it to stay complex because they know the dealer keeps them around. But I think dealers on average probably drop their agency every 18 months or so. And not because they're unhappy with the results, just because they saw a better presentation and it just sounds more like them. It's not like they know all their metrics now. They're like, hey, our cost per click, our cost per shopper, all these metrics are way out of whack. Instead, they could be moving from a great solution to a worse solution or better, who knows. But when the agency educates their dealers and says, hey, look, we're going to put $10 on the table every month, knowing that 2 or 3 of those bets may not work, but we're going to stop those right away, because if you're not experimenting in digital marketing, then if you're not failing in digital marketing, you're probably not experimenting enough. So every month we're going to know like 7 or 8 campaigns we know always do well, but we're going to inject some new copy, some new landing pages, some new ideas, and we'll know right away, if it doesn't perform, and we'll pause those or stop that, and then we'll double down on the stuff that works, but we'll show it all to you. So, every month, instead of coming in there and high-fiving and saying, hey, Joe, congratulations, everything's killing it, the dealer knows that's not the truth. And so you come in, you say, hey, look, a couple of these experiments we didn't put a lot of budget to it, but they did not work at all. We stopped them, a week and a half ago. And instead, these other ones are doing extremely well. I think maybe we can tweak this. And then the dealers can sit and make a decision and be informed and be like, that makes sense. Yeah, heck, let's put more money to that. I like that. I like where those metrics are going. And now you're going to stay in there longer. I mean, there's great proof of that. I mean, the smartest agencies that teach their dealers and make them smarter, they're long-term relationships.